Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be answering your questions you've asked on Instagram story. This series become very popular on my channel. So if you are interested in topics like solar eclipse, yogas for spiritual and lustful person, the forms of Ganesha, especially the Ucchista Ganesha, interpretation of Argala, the spiritual realms, Ketu in the 6th house, a vegan diet, and similar questions, then you are definitely in the right place. If you have any suggestions for the future topics or you have any questions, please feel free to write below in the comment section. So without further ado, let's go straight to the video. So I will be answering the questions without any particular order. The first question was about the vegan diet, how we can see that in the chart. So if person has Mars afflicted in the chart, there may be problem with digestion of the milk. The love for animals is basically related to Rahu influencing some kind of lagna. I have, for example, Rahu in my lagna, so I'm very into animal rights. To the rights shouldn't be personal preference, but should be something general, but person with such position may be more interested in such rights. Now, Sun and Moon in 2nd house give person who lives like a king. So this person may have hard way to restrict any kind of diets because they want to taste everything. Venus in 5th house also makes person who likes the taste of things because 5th house has to do with Jala Tattva. Mercury and Moon in Navamsha may give person who is interested in any kind of natural medicine. Also Gemini sign, especially if Sun is in Gemini, then this gives the blessings of Mitra, and Mitra is also very much interested in environment. Then we have the Venus and Ketu in the Navamsha, which can give Pravraja or Tapashvi, someone who is giving a lot of renunciation. But again, this is relative what it means to be renounced, because for example, a few hundred years ago, being against the slavery also could be seen as something extreme. And the next question is about Ketu in 6th house and love for the animals. So Karaka, when it's connected to the Bhava, that gives this blessings of Karaka yoga, which means that in that particular area of life, you are blessed by the Karaka, but it doesn't mean that you are especially loving something. To love something, you need to have a very good position from personal points like Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord, the Moon, or Atma Karaka, and especially for adults, the Aruda Lagna, because we are forming our opinions or preferences based on what we are seeing, the position or our placement in the society. So this is especially important to see any specific yoga in the chart from these points to really understand if we love something to do. The next question is of course about the yesterday solar eclipse on 26th of May. We had the lunar eclipse, now there was a solar eclipse, and this is very important because if the solar eclipse is after or is succeeded by the lunar eclipse, then it means that the Lagna Lord, Sun, and other lords will be afflicted, but the Karaka and Lagna will be benefited. So the solar eclipse is very important for people with the Mrigashira or planets in Taurus, especially. So if you have any planets there, then you will be affected by this. And if this will be Sun sign or Lagna Lord or any other lord, then these points will be afflicted. And now we have to see if that will be before or after eclipse. So if these points are before the degree of the eclipse, then this will be before the eclipse afflicted. If this is after, then these points will be afflicted after the eclipse. So these two considerations are very important to understand the personal influence of this eclipse. Now the next question is about the 7th lord from the Rasi chart being in 12th house in the Navamsha. So the 12th house in the Navamsha has the death energy, so this is not very positive. It may also show a lot of expenses or even loss of such issues related to this house. If we see the 7th lord from the Rashi, we can also see from 7th house in the Navamsha, so that will be 6th house, which has the input on the Shadripus, which are 6 weaknesses, the celibacy and such issues like distance issues, for example. 7th lord from D1 may also show the experience of the person, so this will impact the experience of the person. Whilst when we see the 7th lord from the Navamsha in such a placement, this will be more central to the marriage or central to the person with whom we are married. The next question is about the spiritual realms, what it really means. The important and very interesting thing is that the spiritual planets or abodes or places are very much related to our chakras, so this becomes very important. And basically, according to Vedic texts or according to Vedic cosmology, we are living on the earth, which is called the Bhuloka, and then above we have the 7 lokas, and below we have the 7 talas. Even below we have something which is called hells. In Sanskrit, these are the narkas. So the 7 lokas above, these are the planetary above. So based on that, these are also within the Brahma. So these are Brahma lokas. Brahma is controlling these lokas. Now above that, we have the Rudra lokas related to Rudra, especially the Kailash. And then we have the Vishnu lokas, which is especially the Goloka, Vrindavan. Now depending on the school, various school is saying that this is the top abode. So for example, the Vaishnavas will see that Goloka, Vrindavan is the highest. And the Shaivas will say that the Kailash is the highest. And of course also there is a distinction between the Advaita and Dvaita, because the Advaita philosophy in Hinduism says that the final form of liberation is when you are one with the Brahman, which is the spiritual impersonal energy, whilst the Dvaita philosophy, especially taught by Madhvacharya, he was the hardcore dualist, is saying that the final form of liberation, when there is a separate and personal relationship between the Jiva, which is the spiritual soul, and the God, which is here the Ishvara. So the Ishvara, personal God, is the final version of absolute, we could say. So these are the two different philosophies. And what is important is to say that the 7 lokas above, they are still in the guna, they are still in the triguna. So when you are crossing the last loka, the satya loka, then you are overcoming, you are transcending the material world, and then you are going into the spiritual world. And there also in the spiritual realm, there is also a hierarchy, which I just spoke about. Now the next question is about Ucchista Ganesha. So Ucchista means coming from the lips. This is also part of dancing form of deities. So there are many group of dancing deities. Like for example, we have Martanda, which is a Shiva dancings. This is called Nirita, the spiritual dance. And Ucchista Ganesha is worshipped on Tuesday evening. And Viki says also that this is a kind of tantric aspects of Ganesha. In Vedic astrology, we are using it for spiritual mothers when it comes to relationships, because this is dancing Ganesha with the 2 wives, Siddhi and Vriddhi. So when you have Ketu in the 12th house, or Ketu related to Venus, or Ketu related to Mars, or Ketu in Libra, then this form is especially important for you to worship. So this Ucchista Ganesha. We could also say that there is also Ucchista Matangi. So this coming from the lips, these 2 forms of Devata are using the word Ucchista. So the Mars and Ketu combination is related to Pisacha. So this mantra also can protect us from this ghosts or this Pisachas elements we can have in the chart. And this is basically channelizing this energy for more auspicious energy of the Agni Tattva, Mars and Ketu, which for example can give you a very good prognostication abilities. You can see the future with such combination. So Pisacha in the Veda is referring to class of demons which are causing the passion, and especially there is a Pisachi, also a she-devil, we could say. So this mantra is also protecting from such. There is a whole ritual you can do with that mantra when you are offering the 21 turmeric sticks. The word likhe is also showing to write or scratch something. The next question is about the long hair and locks. So hairs are generally related to a Ketu, and especially we say that in our body we have only one sattvic place, and this is here the Sikha place, and the Sikha place is very sensitive and it's ruled by Ketu. And this was said that in the Brahmins, when they are shaving their heads, they should leave that place with the hair just to protect that place. So it's very spiritual plane, and this is because it's connected to the higher chakras. So the Sahasrara, the 1000 lotuses chakra, it's not the last one. They are other chakras above, like Guru chakra. So therefore we are keeping those hairs to give respect to that, because on that place also of our head, the Rishi and Guru is sitting. Now one question was related to forms of Ganesha related to Capricorn, Aquarius or Saturn. So generally we have Vinayaka and Ganapati for Capricorn and Aquarius. For Capricorn, we are using the Siddhi Ganesha, so the Namo Ganapataye Tubhyam mantra. And for Kumbha, we can also use the Vigneshwara Ganesha, Om Gam Glau Ganapataye, and so on. So these mantras are important for Saturn or Capricorn, Aquarius related to a Ganesha. The next question is about the can Sun in Gemini or Virgo, so in the Mercurial sign without Mercury, cause a Surya Buddha yoga or the famous Aditya yoga. This is giving basically the skill for the person. So unless you have also Mercury in the Sun sign, or you have at least the Graha Drishti, which also would give some kind of 50% type of yoga, it's not the yoga. When you only have the Sun in the Gemini or Virgo, it is not the Surya Budha-Aditya. You need basically 2 planets having some form of relation to form a very strong yoga. The next question is about how to see if person is extremely spiritual or extremely lustful person. So basically we can see Atmakaraka in the 2nd house in the Navamsha can make person very renounced. Normally we say this is a sannyasi from the past life. We also see the Lagna Lord Dispositor if it's in the Dushtana houses in the Rashi. We are also seeing the Mercury and Venus because that is showing the Rajas, how much Rajas Guna we have. So normally the spiritual people are those who are renouncing the Rajas. So normally in these charts we expect that Mercury and Venus can be in the 6th or 3rd from Aruda Lagna. For example, Srila Prabhupada had the Mercury and the Venus in the 6th house from Aruda Lagna. We also need the Sattvic yogas then, because we don't only need to renounce the Rajas, but we also need the stability of Sattva Guna. So it would be nice to have some Jupiter Ketu, Sun Jupiter or Sun Ketu yogas in the chart. 4 planets together are also forming the Pravraja yoga. Person is renouncing the world. Also the Moon and Saturn yoga will be very seen in spiritual people. We also have to see 1st and 5th house. Now this is important to see our attitude, how we are processing everything related to Sun, because Sun is exalted in Aries and Sun is on sign in Leo, so this is 1st and 5th houses. Then we have to see the 4th lord from the Navamsha in the Rasi chart. This will control the whole moksha ayana, so this is also very important to see what kind of spirituality is person preferring. So this is for spiritual point. Now for lustful person, I won't give here all the yogas, but definitely the Venus has to be either influenced by Mars or Saturn and Ketu, and has to influence also the 2nd house from the Aruda Lagna, from the Navamsha Lagna, without any aspects of Jupiter and Ketu which could control that. So Ketu normally means that it's totally controlled, but Jupiter translates it to marriage or serious or stable relationships. The next question is about Visha Kanya yoga. So these combinations are showing people who can exploit others in a relationship. So for that we basically need the Budha-Aditya, which is 2nd, 7th and 12th, Malefic Vara, and then the nakshatras of Kritika, Ashlesha or Satabisha. So if we break down this yoga, it has to do with Titi. Budha-Aditya means that you are paying a lot of attention to external matters like perfumes, how you look, external appearance and so on. And these nakshatras Kritika, Ashlesha, Satabisha, these people may have very strong desires which is hard to satisfy. So if you combine all these 3 elements, you get that Visha Kanya yoga. Okay, now the last question is about Nicha. In all Varga charts, Nicha means debilitation. So for Sun it's Libra, for Moon it's Scorpio, for Mars it's Cancer, for Jupiter it's Capricorn, Venus is Virgo, Saturn is Aries, for Rahu it's Sagittarius, for Ketu is Gemini. And according to Nadis, you need to have some debilitated planets in Kali Yuga, so in this age, to have a wealth, because you need to go a little bit, you need to be, we could call it more liberal. So basically Varga shows environment and Nicha shows low ideals. So if you have many planets related to low ideals, then you can understand that this can also give a lot of wealth, this can give a lot of business, a lot of networking, but also there can be some side effect to this yoga, because you don't want to have low ideals, for example, when it comes to spirituality. This brings me to the end of this presentation. I hope you find it interesting and informative. If you find that this video helped you in any way, please click the like button, subscribe for more, and see you in the next one.